Overthinking is just fear dressed up as logic. If you ever feel paralyzed by your own thoughts, running the same scenarios, running the same situations, and waiting for the perfect time to act, then you've obviously been overthinking. But that's not the point of this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to stop overthinking, how to move out of stuck energy, and how to move into a high-performing frequency that is going to 10x your life. When I was thinking about overthinking, the first thing that came to my mind was understanding the brain, how your subconscious uses overthinking as a defense mechanism, as a protection, protecting you from failure or convincing you to stay still so that you can avoid certain situations that will make you look like a failure, make you feel like a failure. And this is a huge problem with men. This is a huge problem in the masculine community because we are natural providers, protectors, and problem solvers. So we do want to have the right answer. So there's this inherent fear that if I don't give the right answer, then I will no longer be valuable. And I can give you an example from my life when I was overthinking and how it significantly impacted my family. So for those who know me, I have a wife and I have a 2-month-old boy. And we went to dinner for the first time since my wife gave birth. So we arrived at this fancy restaurant in downtown LA. There's valet parking, we're all dressed up, we're super happy, we got the music blasting, my son is not crying, he's just chilling. So we arrive, I open the door for my wife, and she goes on the other side to open the door for my son. As she's opening the door, she gets her fingernail stuck in the side passenger door. I'm not sure to this day how exactly that happened, but she had long fingernails and they were stuck, and we could not get them out for the life of me. And she was in a lot of pain, and she said a lot of words, and I didn't know what to do. As a matter of fact, I got stuck. I literally paralyzed, and I was asking people around me, can they help? What should we do? I went to her and I was trying to pull it out, and it was just, the more we tried to help her, the more painful it was. So because I didn't know the answer, and because I was overthinking it and I just didn't calm down in that moment, I wound up calling my mother and asking her, hey, do you have any advice? What should we do? And because she wasn't in the situation, she was able to think more clearly. She immediately said, call the fire department. I'm not sure why I didn't think about that in the first place. That was such an obvious answer, and one I would normally pride myself on knowing. The fire department, of course, would come in a matter of minutes and would help out in the situation. But because I was overthinking and because I had this fear of not getting it right, I didn't get anything right, and I didn't have an answer for anything. And this was internally a very embarrassing moment for me. The fire department did wind up coming. They did help her, and he did this in a matter of minutes. And we eventually were able to go to dinner and really enjoy ourselves. And she put a Band-Aid over her finger, and we laughed about it over dinner. But internally, I felt like a failure. I felt like I didn't have control over the situation. I felt like I didn't have control over my life. I felt like I didn't have control over the situation. And for most men, especially high-performing men, control equals safety. So they try to mentally dominate the outcome, but while you're mentally dominating the outcome, you're taking away the energy from action. And that's important to understand. Overthinking isn't about intelligence. It's actually about fear. It's about fear of failure. It's about fear of not having control. It's about fear of not providing that safety and staying comfortable in the mental side and uncomfortable in the action side. And these are probably signs for you if you didn't know that you were overthinking, or you ever wonder, am I overthinking? And the obvious ones are being paralyzed, but some non-obvious ones might be asking advice from all of your friends, or thinking about the worst case scenario and how would I solve the worst case scenario. Coming up with a solution, but thinking about alternative solutions if that one failed. Having a plan B and a plan C and a plan D. I'm not saying that these things are wrong, and there are a lot of times where I needed that plan B and I needed that plan C. Those weren't the things that saved me in those moments. The things that really saved me in those moments, and the thing that even saved me at the restaurant when my wife got her finger stuck in a door, was taking action, was actually getting out of my brain and connecting more with my body. And this is an important lesson that I also teach in my program, 21 Days to Mindset Mastery. In the second module, I really teach you how to intuitively use your body and step into your energy. so that you can make higher level decisions and so that you can increase your level of performance, even in dire situations. And it's something that I have to continue practicing, even though I'm coaching and I'm mentoring and I'm sharing this information. And this is why I can share with you these things, because I'm right there in the trenches. I'm sharing with you my mistakes. I'm sharing with you the things that I'm going through so that you won't have to go through them yourselves. So number one, the first thing I want you to do to stop overthinking is gain some clarity. Thought volume does not equal thought value. Stop thinking about all the things that you're thinking about and try to stay present in the moment. If I would have stayed present in the moment at that restaurant, I would have realized that I didn't have the solutions, but there are professionals that did, and I didn't have that clarity, but I want you to have that clarity. Number two is reframing the situation and asking yourself, what am I avoiding by not taking action? By me not taking action, I was avoiding feeling like a loser or a failure and not being able to provide that safety. But if I were to reframe the situation very quickly in my head, I would have been present to the fact that I didn't have the answers, but I know people who would have the answers. And if I would have just called them right away, we could have avoided 15 or 20 minutes of even more pain. Which brings me to my last point, which is movement. Do something, anything to create momentum. I read this book called Atomic Habits, and one of the ways that it said to improve your habits is to decide what you wanted to wear or what you wanted to do the night before. This allowed you to avoid decision fatigue by making everything and designing your environment to be easy. I was just mentally stuck thinking, what should I do? How should I answer this question? How can I help her as soon as possible? So I didn't have the clarity, but I could have had the clarity if I would have stayed in the present moment. I didn't reframe it, but I could have reframed it by simply realizing that I was avoiding not being right and not being in control. All I had to do was move a little bit, call a few more people, get into the energetic frequency of receiving answers and by connecting with my body. And that's the identity shift that I want you to move into. The clarity, the reframing, and the movement. I don't want you to have to go through what I went through. So I want you to learn from my mistakes so that you can stop overthinking. So if this hit you a little different, and if you felt something when I shared this vulnerable moment of me not being in perfection, but now realizing that I have a framework that I can go to every single time to snap out of it, join me in the Billionaire Mindset Collective. Hit the link below and drop a comment if you've ever experienced overthinking or had those thoughts of fear of being judged and not getting it right and not being in control. Until next time, stay wealthy.